Can we get the dais unmuted online? We're still muted online here, so if someone could unmute the Zoom.
Okay, we'll start again. We're going to welcome you all to the City of Durango City Council regular meeting. It is May 16th. And can we have please a City Council roll call?
Councillor Bosmans,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Here.
Councillor Woodruff,
Here.
Councillor Yazzie,
Here.
and Mayor Youssef.
Here, thank you. This is my first meeting serving as your mayor, and I first want to just take this moment to thank all of you for your support in electing me to serve as your mayor. I want you to know that I am fully committed to this position. I'm excited about it, and to me, it's a huge honor to serve. Do know that I recognize that I am serving as your representative in many roles as mayor. I take that very seriously, and I will do my best to always represent council as a whole in my capacity as mayor. I ask for each of you that the biggest ask that I have for all of us is that we treat each other with respect, that we have the utmost regard for staff at all times, and that we do our best to represent our constituents. I think if we do that, we'll have a successful year together. One more quick thing before we move on. I have heard through the grapevine that we have a very special guest with us today. And I would like to say that we have a gentleman by the name of Oren Susser, who is turning 6 years old today. He is finishing his kindergarten year at Juniper School, and we're so happy that you're with us today. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. So that's fun. And with that, if we can please have the introduction of the translator.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. I'll give a quick introduction in Spanish about connecting to interpretation, and then we'll repeat that in English. Entonces, buenas tardes. Me llamo Joshua Stallings y estoy aquí con mi colega Liz Torres y vamos a ser sus intérpretes hoy con la Cooperativa Comunitaria del Lenguaje. Queremos agradecerles por su compromiso con la justicia del lenguaje, lo cual significa que todas las personas tienen el derecho de comunicar en el idioma de su corazón. Entonces vamos a estar interpretando simultáneamente y una vez que termine de hablar, vamos a activar la función de interpretación. En ese momento, si está participando en una computadora, se puede elegir el icono de globo terráqueo en la barra de navegación al parte inferior de su pantalla y luego se puede seleccionar el idioma de preferencia. Y si está participando en la aplicación de Zoom de un teléfono o tableta, se puede elegir los 3 puntitos, seleccionar interpretación y luego el idioma de preferencia. Y si usted es bilingüe en ambos idiomas, no es necesario elegir en un idioma. Entonces, muchas gracias. So we want to thank you all for your commitment to language justice, meaning that everyone has the right to speak and be heard in the language of their heart. My name is Joshua Stallings. I'm here with my colleague, Liz Torres. And once I finish speaking, we'll go ahead and turn on the interpretation feature for simultaneous interpretation. In case we have any Spanish comments or Spanish speakers tonight, to connect to that interpretation feature, if you are on a computer, a globe icon will appear on the bottom navigation bar. You'll select that and then your preferred language. And if you're on a Zoom application on a phone or a tablet, you'll click the three dots, select interpretation, and then your preferred language. And if you're bilingual, don't worry about choosing a language. And lastly, just a reminder to our speakers tonight to speak at a conversational pace so that we're able to provide an accurate interpretation of your message. And thank you very much. We're good to go and turn on the interpretation feature.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will move on to identification of actual or perceived conflicts of interest. Council? Seeing none, I will move on to proclamations and presentations. This is City Council's opportunity to acknowledge those who contribute to enhance the quality of life in Durango. Citizens may request to have the mayor present a proclamation or nominate exceptional members of the community who deserve special recognition at a city council meeting if someone will be present to receive the proclamation. Recipients will also have a few minutes to share information about the proclamation, as well as any actions community members can take to provide support or recognition. Tonight, we have a proclamation for Durango Buddy Poppy Days, May 26th through May 29th. And do we have anyone who will be receiving that proclamation tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great. I will come down. Okay, so today we have Durango Buddy Poppy Days, May 26th through May 29th, 2023. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States has been officially recognized and endorsed by governmental leaders since 1922. And whereas VFW Buddy Poppies are assembled by disabled veterans, and the proceeds of this worthy fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans, widows and orphans of deceased veterans, and area's children programs such as Bicycle Safety Week and school scholarship programs. And whereas the basic purpose of the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the Veterans of Foreign Affairs is eloquently reflected in the desire to honor the dead by helping the living. Now, therefore, I, Melissa Youssef, Mayor of Durango, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 26th through 29th, 2023 as Durango Buddy Poppy Days, and do hereby urge the citizens of the community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to its support by the obtaining of Buddy Poppies on the days set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored veterans. The officers and members of VFW Post 4031 urge all patriotic citizens to wear a Buddy Poppy as mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this community who have risked their lives in defense of the freedoms which we continue to enjoy as American citizens. Oh, great. That's always he didn't have come far, did he?
That I was here.
And this is for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would you like to say a few words?
Just like to thank the community for supporting us, and don't forget the American Legion is just across the street, and we have all of the events for veterans here on this flyer. I'm going to leave with you and some Buddy Poppies for you, and they'll be at businesses throughout Durango the 26th through the 27th, just 2 days, Friday and Saturday at various businesses, or you can come into the Legion or to the VFW, and there's a lot of ceremonies on Memorial Day, and we'll be doing speeches up at Greenmount, Iris Park, and we'll be tossing the Lost at Sea, which I'm from the Navy, so that's special to me. We'll be tossing that on the bridge at Rotary Park into the water. So here's the schedule.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you again. All right. Okay, moving on to public participation. Public participation is this section of the agenda is set aside for the public to provide comments or ask questions regarding items that are not scheduled for a hearing or public testimony, or that do not otherwise appear on this agenda. City Council will not respond to questions from the dais. Citizens should address their comments directly to City Council. This is a hybrid meeting. The avenues for public participation have been adjusted. All written comments received by the city clerk by noon today have been delivered to council and will be summarized in the meeting minutes. And today we have Miss Sweetie Marbury, please. Will you please join us at the podium and speak your name and if you're a resident of the city? Excuse me.
My name is Sweetie Marbury, and yes, I am a resident of this wonderful town. I'm here tonight to ask this city council to eliminate the minimum lot size in EN 1, 2, and 3 to build an ADU. Homeowners should have the same opportunities to build an ADU as they have in EN 4, 5, and 6. In 2014, City Council had many public hearings and crafted really good regulations for owner occupancy in one of the units. Almost 10 years later, here we are. ADUs have not destroyed neighborhoods, as some had predicted. This city council said that housing was a priority. Well, every day on the Nextdoor app, someone is seeking to rent a studio or a one-bedroom apartment. By allowing a homeowner to build a garage apartment or an ADU, it could help with their mortgage or give a relative or a caregiver a place to live. In 2019, Kevin Hall had public meetings on eliminating lot sizes in EN 1, 2, and 3. That city council ran out of time to address the changes. It's time now. In the last 4 years, planning has made changes to the code, but has not faced the elephant in the room. There will always be negative people claiming an ADU will be a problem. Well, I've lived next door to an ADU and a duplex for almost 50 years. Great, helpful renters who work and contribute to Durango. Those are the people that I know. By eliminating lot sizes, this city council will say that you believe in fairness and you believe in equal opportunity for homeowners in EN 1, 2, and 3. The owner occupied regulation is key in neighborhoods. By using existing infrastructure, the city benefits in transportation and services and creates a more cohesive plan. South of College, there is no lot size, no minimum lot size, as there is in EN 1, 2, and 3, with 5,000 required in EN 1 and 7,000 required in EN 2 and 3. I'm asking City Council for fairness for homeowners, and I'm asking you to propose a code change for no minimum lot size to build an ADU. Meet your own goals for housing by increasing the opportunities. Not everyone will do this. Increase the opportunities for ADUs. Make the changes this summer with a code change, please. It's time. It's a win-win situation for Durango. Thank you. And welcome the new city council. Woohoo!
Thank you very much, former Mayor Marbury. We appreciate it. And with that, we're going to move to, first of all, do we have any virtual individuals who would like to comment?
No, Mayor, no one has indicated that they would like to speak.
Okay. I believe that is all of our public comment for today. So we will move on to city operational updates, and we'll start with our city manager update.
Do not have an update for the city council this evening, so we can go on to the Powerhouse Science Center strategic.
Okay, wonderful. Can we welcome Mr. Susser up then for and team? No, okay, just Mr. Susser. Okay. This is going to be an update on the, he can let us know, but on the strategic plan and vision of the Powerhouse Science Center. We will have a study session at the end of the summer and more opportunity to talk about partnerships and things like that. But for now, we just wanted to get a quick update. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. And it was really nice to have your son join us.
Thank you. And he said, we have enough cupcakes for the important people and the mayor. So we have some cupcakes for you if you have a chance for a snack.
That is so nice. We never turn that down.
And I'm not sure why he distinguished between the mayor and the important people.
Oh, that's very,
Really
it's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Youssef, City Council, City Manager Madrigal, I really appreciate the opportunity to share a quick update for you as my board's adopted a strategic plan in part through the participation of the previous City Council. The Powerhouse is the city's city-owned cultural amenity. And as such, we really appreciate the engagement of City Council in helping dream about the next version of the Powerhouse as we move into the future. As we looked at our strategic plan, we identified 5 priorities that we want to advance over the next 3 years. The first is the power of bright futures, creating a space that's home to children before they reach school age. Second, the power of curious kids, investing in partnering with our school leaders and parents in creating and helping form curious and STEAM and science literate students, especially focused on elementary age students. Third is the power of place, looking at opportunities to really create a compelling riverfront destination that serves residents of our community, as well as seasonal visitors to Durango. Fourth, the power of welcome, ensuring that we create a space that's welcoming and accessible to all in our community, especially the underserved. And finally, the power of performance, maintaining high operational and financial standards. Bit of history on the project. In 1893, as the world was introduced to modern electricity at the Chicago's Columbia Exhibition, Durango already was living out that reality. Durango was the proving ground for the technology that powered the 20th century. And our building was opened in that year. It served as the power plant for Durango into the 1970s when it was closed and decommissioned. And the city purchased the property in 1980, primarily with the intent of creating River City Hall and the downtown fire station. In 2000, the building, over 20 years vacant, crumbling, a brownfield site contaminated with PCBs, uranium tailings, hydrocarbons, was a real eyesore and challenge for the city. And the parents and leaders of the Durango Children's Museum approached the city about partnership to redevelop the site with the intent of creating a children's museum and science education center. And in 2008, the city signed a letter of commitment committing $5.9 million to that project, which the Powerhouse leveraged to raise an additional $6 billion plus to invest in environmental remediation, site stabilization, historic preservation, and adaptive reuse of the property, and finally opened in February of 2011. In the years since then, we reached that level of investment, $6.5 million in creating that site as a public amenity through the support of over 4,700 donors, members, and parents, and have welcomed over 225,000 visitors to the Powerhouse over the last 12 years. As we looked at our planning process, we looked at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some of those strengths are the quality of programming, current leadership, the unique attributes of our facilities and location at our downtown riverfront. Some of the weaknesses we heard from the community was a lack of clarity of focus. Is who is the Powerhouse for? What age are we trying to serve in that space? Understanding that many of the exhibits in our gallery still date to 2011. So we're facing aging exhibits that are falling out of repair and not as engaging to visitors as they were 12 years ago. And the size of our gallery at 6,000 square feet puts us at the low end of size for a science center and impacts the number of folks we can serve in that space. In terms of opportunities, sorry, I think our slides got a little reformatted for us, sorry, I'm gonna have a little trouble reading that for us, is audience, is looking at the number of children and families with children and visitors in Durango that we have the opportunity to serve. Some shifts in funding sources and funding priorities, both at the state of Colorado level, here in Durango and elsewhere, that give us the opportunity to really look at reinvestment possibilities in the quality experience at the Powerhouse. And the focus of City Council looking at the future of River City Hall and that downtown riverfront corridor. Among the threats, one of the key ones is around population trends. In conversations individually with city council members, I know you all are aware of some of the demographic numbers that 9R is looking at. And the one that really strikes me is a birth rate that's dropped by a third, steadily dropped by a third in just 8 years, and a shrinking percentage of our community that are families with young children. Continued challenges around connectivity. We made great progress with the 12th Street intersection back 12 years ago and getting the Hawk Crossing in, getting better vehicle access. But the delay in looking at the underpass project, the lack of co-development alongside the powerhouse, that as beautiful and great as the location is, we're pretty cut off from the central business district, which just causes challenges for drawing an audience and how we serve the community. And then finally, redevelopment as well is with open questions about what our neighboring properties look like and how they're developed, potential impacts on future expansion, long-term viability of the powerhouse, and just the mix of activities on the riverfront to support a really compelling riverfront destination for the community. We looked at rebranding and looking at our mission and vision. We tried to bring a better focus to who it is we're serving, how and why. So the powerhouse is Southwest Colorado's steam engine, empowering curious young learners through interactive experiences, discovery, and play, with the vision of building a community of curious, capable, and science-literate problem solvers. So what does that look like with our 5 focus areas? When we look at the opportunities to better support children preschool and younger, the challenges we see in the community are the cost and availability of care. An article came out in March in the Herald and noted that only 60% of parents in our community looking for childcare opportunities for their children can find a place to support that need. And all of the childcare centers we're aware of have long waiting lists. The previous council has really focused on the affordability of housing, and we appreciate that. Along with that is looking at affordability of childcare in the community and creating spaces to support young learners. That looking at where are those spaces, we have incredible strengths in our Parks and Rec system and in the community to support elementary and older kids, but very few spaces that support those youngest learners. And then finally, the challenges we see around birth rate and changing demographics in our community. And the value, again, I've heard from council members individually about making sure we maintain this as a vibrant, multi-generational community. If we don't proactively address the demographic trends that we're seeing over the last 8 years, that won't be what our community looks like 20 years from now. So our goal is to create, support thriving children who arrive at school curious, resilient, and ready to learn. And to do that by developing indoor and outdoor spaces designed to support that community well, pursuing the opportunity to look at opening a licensed center with up to 2 classrooms on our campus, finding ways to support other early childhood education providers through professional development and access to great indoor and outdoor space to support gross motor skills and other opportunities for children, and developing programs to support new parents and put them on a successful path as they bring children into the world. Looking at the focus area around education, Power of Curious Kids, looking to expand and improve museum-led educational programs, working with individual parents and schools, supporting enrichment programs outside of the school day, summer camps, after school programs, and looking at the school districts around Durango that have all shifted to 4-day school weeks and what type of opportunities are offered to kids on Fridays when their educators are not engaging with them and many of their parents are at work. And then third, partnering with San Juan BOCES and the Durango School District to bring back science competitions that help kids explore areas of passion, build strong resumes that put them on a pathway to secondary education, including Lego League, the Science Fair, and Destination Imagination. Third is the power of place, looking at the powerhouse as a destination in our downtown riverfront. With many of our exhibits aging and in ill repair, creating a truly special experience for kids inside and outside our gallery, looking at exhibit renewal within the gallery space and the development of the back garden between the Camino del Rio and the Powerhouse building as truly part of the exhibit experience that engages kids throughout the year. Developing programs to bring a diverse audience to our campus, partly through our identity as a public museum, but also recognizing our role as a community venue, supporting other organizations and activities, and us as education partners and the educational programs that run out of our space. Third is looking at connectivity, advocating and partnering with the city to look at access, improving access via 12th Street, advocating for the timely construction of an underpass under Camino, making sure that there's adequate public parking, especially if River City Hall is redeveloped, to make sure that parking isn't the limiting factor in what can happen at our riverfront, and looking at opportunities to incorporate our riverfront with transit lines, both run by the city and 9R, to provide alternate ways for folks to access opportunities on our campus. And then finally, trying to help work with the community to really explore what a world-class riverfront experience could be in front of the Powerhouse at our downtown intersection with the Animas River Trail. That our identity as a river town, the incredible asset that is the Animas River Trail in our park system, how do we connect that well with our central business district and create a truly special place in our community? Next around, welcome. Looking at financial accessibility that we're trying to look at under the umbrella of Open Doors Initiative. 3 years ago, we instituted a program called Museums for All. That's a national program encouraging families, regardless of income, to introduce kids to museum experiences. Families eligible for public aid are able to come to the Powerhouse for $1 a visit. And we've seen that program grow every year. Just in the last 4 months, those numbers are up 82% from 2022 at a time when our gallery numbers are up 20 or 30%. So we're seeing increased usage in the community, increased understanding of the opportunity to bring kids into an enriching space regardless of income. Looking, this year, we're budgeting about $50,000 in financial aid. That's about a 10-fold increase over the last year to make sure that we are making our camp programs and after-school programs accessible to everyone. And then looking at offering discounted programs to high property schools to make sure that schools themselves can partner with us. Second is looking at satellite programs. We'll be piloting summer camps in Archuleta County and Montezuma County, looking at communities that have disproportionately fewer opportunities for kids in science learning and enrichment, and looking at ways that while Durango's our home, we see our service as a 100-mile radius of Durango and making sure our programs reflect that. And then looking at our gallery to make sure that we're creating a space that is accessible via language, that acknowledges the critical role the Southern Ute Tribe has had in making this project possible, and looking at how we're offering good welcome throughout our space. And then finally, around performance, maintaining high operational standards, looking at running a strong business, achieving market pricing and strong volume through the quality of what we do on our campus, exploring the future of our role in relationship with the city of Durango. Again, appreciate the opportunity for a future study session to continue the conversation with council. And to make sure we continue to attract, invest in, and retain a high-performing team. So what does that look like this year? We're looking at, we've applied for childcare licensing. We understand that there's approval that might need to happen at the city council level, at the city planning staff level, to see whether this is a feasible opportunity. We see it as a need and an opportunity for us to serve, but that only makes sense if you all see us in that role. So that's part of the conversation of this year, is to explore whether licensed care on our campus makes sense as part of the overall strategy in supporting early learners. Developing an exhibit master plan, bringing in that expert that can look at what is the best version of kids' experience and learning that can happen on our campus, and putting a plan to take that 12-year-old exhibit space and truly refresh it over the next 2 and 3 years. Third is continued investments in our campus. We're grateful for the support of City Council to help support some maintenance needs on our campus. We're looking at bringing an EV charger, improving signage, making further investments in the plaza in front of the powerhouse as a public space. Again, the hope to continue the conversation through a study session. And then, as you'll see, the new logo has been out in the last few weeks. We should have a website live by the end of the summer, and really appreciate the opportunity to continue the work.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the
Thank you. I appreciate
updates.
the opportunity.
I want to see if staff, council has any comments.
I'll just say thank you for the update on the strategic plan. And I love the vision of filling the early childhood education gap that we're experiencing here in Durango. I think that's great and proactive. And then I also love the community venue focus that you guys are taking. Your location and outdoor space is so amazing for that. So yeah, I all of it great, but those 2 points, yes, thank you.
Other councilors?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Thank you so much. You gave a great presentation and I've been there a few times for the evening lectures and I really enjoy it. So thank you so much.
Okay, I want to thank you as well. It's really wonderful to see the support of your team as well. Many familiar faces for me. I had the opportunity and good fortune to serve with quite a few people in this room on the board and as president of the board before city council days. And I experienced firsthand the difficulty of some of the issues that you brought up today, and also some of the really wonderful attributes that the Powerhouse Science Center can deliver to our community. Such great things to a multi-generational community, truly. And I see such great value in it and maintaining it and helping it foster. So I look forward to our continued discussions in the future. Thank you so much. All right. With that, we will move on to a review of the consent agenda. And you guys, if you want to stay, you can, but feel free. Sometimes it gets a little monotonous at about this point. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. And thank you again for joining us, all of you. See ya. All right, with that, I'm going to go on for the review of the consent agenda. The consent agenda is intended to allow the city council by a single motion to approve matters that are considered routine or non-controversial. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Items removed from the consent agenda will be considered under agenda item 9.2. Faye, can we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Certainly. Item 8.1 is approval of minutes of the May 2nd, 2023 City Council study session. 8.2 is approval of minutes of the May 2nd, 2023 City Council regular meeting. 8.3 is discussion and possible action to approve a resolution to make amendments to the 2023 adopted budget for the purpose of increasing personnel in the Airport Enterprise Fund. And 8.4 is discussion and possible action to approve a resolution to amend the 2023 budget for the purpose of budget adjustments related to the CDOT Office of Innovative Mobility Grant Award.
Thank you. Do we have a counselor that would like to remove any item from the consent agenda today? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Councillor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beal,
Yes.
Councillor Woodruff,
Yes.
Councillor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes, thank you. We have no public hearings today and we have no introduction of ordinances. So we're moving on to general business items. 13.1, this is discussion and possible action regarding the appointment of council liaisons and the appointment of candidates to the City of Durango boards and commissions, discussion and possible action regarding vacancies. I would like to start today with the appointment of council liaison positions. After that, I will go to appointment of candidates to the boards and commissions. I think we have all seen a copy of the draft liaison position Excel spreadsheet that I sent out to council in advance of this meeting, suggesting placements for counselors on the various boards and commissions. I'm going to start by making a motion that we move to approve this document, officially signing counselor liaison roles to each of the boards and commissions noted on the spreadsheet.
I'll second.
Okay, I would like to start with some discussion now that we have a motion on the table. To start with that discussion, Mayor Pro Tem Buell, as the second, I'm going to start with you. I tried to honor your first request for La Plata Economic Development Alliance, and I've also placed you on the Colorado Association of Ski Towns based on the work that you have done covering that board for past Mayor Noseworthy. I wanted to know if this would work with your schedule and thoughts for you.
Yes, that works with my schedule. I think you did it. I want to just thank you for taking the time to draft all this up and, make some conscious decisions. I could tell you worked hard on it and seems very fair. So yes, I am good with my recommendations from you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Woodruff, I tried to honor your third request for the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm also requesting that you serve on the Creative Economy Commission. Both of those meet on Tuesday mornings. I'm wondering if those will work for your schedule and if you have thoughts.
Both are, I think, hugely impactful for our community. So I'm happy to serve as liaison to both.
Wonderful, thank you. Councillor Yazzie, I tried to honor your third request for the Regional Housing Alliance. And I'm also requesting that you serve on the Library Advisory Board. Will those work for your schedule and do you have thoughts?
Those will work for my schedule.
Wonderful. Okay. Councillor Bosmans, I tried to honor your first request for the Southwest Colorado Council of Governments. And I'm also hoping you will serve on Colorado Communities for Climate Action as you suggested you would serve at the last meeting. Will those work for your schedule and do you have thoughts?
They will work, and just two little comments. I just spell my name is often misspelled. The Southwest COG, it's actually Region 9. That is the umbrella, and COG falls under that. So if we want to make that correction, and I'm perfectly fine with attending those.
Thank you so much. So to confirm, what is the title, Councillor Bus? Region 9. Region 9 Southwest.
No, Region 9 is the entity, and
Okay.
the COG is now part of that, and managed, I guess, under
It took
the.
over the COG, so it's
Okay.
Region 9 is the one who's handling
Thank you
it
for
all.
clarifying that for me for the record. So it's Region 9, yeah. Okay, so any further discussion?
Okay, so the rest of these were you state going to various committees. So did we just let you know we're going to attend?
Very good question. The Colorado Municipal League is something that we can all attend as council. We can all attend the conferences and regional meetings, and you're absolutely welcome to let us know if you'd like to attend those and report back if you're able to attend those.
And we're all members.
And we're all
Yeah,
members.
so
And then the Visit Durango is, we have Tom Sluice as our ex officio member serving on that for us. And the Durango Police Citizen Complaint Review Panel is an amazing opportunity that I think all of council should take the opportunity to participate in. It usually comes later on in the year, so I think we have time to talk about this as a council who would like to serve on that. It's an observing role. I served last year. Mayor Pro Tem served the year before, and so I'd love for another counselor to serve on that as it gets closer, but I think it's usually like in
It's
February.
towards the end of the year. It really just goes over how the police department handled some of their internal investigations when they were complaint. Because it's a personnel matter, that's why it's only an observing role only for the council, just because you do not get involved in personnel matters with employees. However, it's a good part just for a counselor to take a look at it, just see how it goes, to get a background into it. So it's that a counselor can.
as long as it works for my schedule, since the mayor pro tem typically has done it, I'm
Okay.
happy to do that. I just, until we get a little closer,
Yeah.
I
and
don't
then-
know for
And if
sure.
it doesn't work for your schedule, we'll let see if
someone
other
else.
councilors-
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
great.
Other counselors?
I do two comments.
Okay.
One is the Fort Lewis College Senate, Student Senate.
Oh, yeah.
It's not been a very actively participated council by by the city council. But I attended it, well, only once, but it's a very interesting meeting, even especially for the new members on the council, or if you want to see how professional, really professional meetings are run, it will be very good to see.
Okay, I can
And-
go.
Yeah, and I think there's probably some flexibility because they are not really, I think I was one of the first councillors to attend that meeting in a long time. So it's
Okay.
worthwhile.
You know, I would like to go to that since I graduated from there and I do have a relationship with a few of the people up there and then the Native
Wonderful.
American Alliance.
I know Councilors Baxter knows where they used to attend periodically as well.
Mhm.
I don't, there is no problem with council attending, and this is absolutely, council can attend the Fort Lewis College Student Senate meetings, I think, as they desire. So long as there's not more than two of us present at any one time, then it's not a public meeting and you're welcome to attend.
And you have to do some research on figuring out when and how the meeting takes place. The other item I had is just a confirmation that I was hoped to hear clearly, is there is no more board and commission liaisons. Or am I missing something?
At the top. Oh, thank you for pointing that out. So we are, as we all know, we've consolidated 5 boards into one, the FAB board. So they are transitioning. They have June, a joint meeting in June, and I'm not certain if they're meeting in July. But if they were meeting in July, I was suggesting that potentially Jessica, Mayor Pro Tem Buell, and I attend those meetings and help with the transition. And as two counselors who very much supported this, so we could go and help provide information and or support. Okay, any other questions? May we have a roll call, please, then?
And if you could send the clerk's office a copy of that, that would be
Aye.
great for the record.
Yes, I sure can. Can you please pass that, Trevor?
So much. I
That
appreciate
hopefully will make it easier for you.
We'll make it a little easier. Thank you.
Okay,
Councilor Bosman's,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Councilor Woodruff,
Yes.
Councilor Yazzie,
Yes,
and Mayor Youssef.
yes, thank you all. I really appreciate you guys, your willingness to serve in those capacities. I think this is going to be really great coverage. Moving on to appointments of candidates to the various boards and commissions. So we had 14 different boards and commissions that we were interviewing for with 32 open positions. We did not receive applications for all the positions, and I will discuss those at the end. I intend to call for one motion at a time for each board to keep this organized for the record. So to start with, I'm going to ask for a motion for the Financial Advisory Board. We had 7 open seats on this board. The interview team was Mayor Pro Tem Buell, Councilor Woodruff, and Devin Schmidt. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Doug Lyon, Roger Zelneritis, Anthony Savastano, Jasper Welch, Emma Millar, Jessica Wheeler, and John Baloo to said Financial Advisory Board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So I was wondering on this board if we wanted to have a alternate, just because of potential the excessive meetings that they may or may not have, especially getting started, the importance of it. And if one person is missing, then it's 6. And I feel like it could be and so I didn't know if council would support amending the resolution to, does that have to be separate though?
No, it's
Just in this,
left on
okay.
the floor, so you can offer an amendment to add an alternate. Do you have a name of an alternate?
Of Tom Barney as the alternate for the FAB board.
So I make the amendment that we also include Tom Barney as a alternate to also serve on the Financial Advisory Board in a voting capacity when needed.
Wonderful, thank you.
Discuss-
Any other further comments?
Yes, I first want to make a suggestion on the way we've gone about this. So as a counselor, we appoint the boards and commissions. So in this year is the first time we split up our council to do individual interviews, 2 counselors per board or commission. And I requested the total list of applicants, and that was obviously a concern because to me, that was a part of the scheduling and organizing of these interviews. So that I would be, as a counselor, informed of everybody that was applied, so that I can make a informed decision on who I, as one counselor, would like to appoint. That came with some dissatisfaction because I sent that email to staff directly along with all the scheduling. And I apologize to the city manager if his feelings were hurt on me asking that, which I thought was a standard request. Nonetheless, I think as counselors, we needed to see all the applicants so that we can evaluate which applicants we consider the best for a certain board and commission. Having said that, during this meeting, I get run down 7 names out of 12 applicants for the Finance Advisory Board. I didn't even have time to check with my notes or even remember who you said. Could we start with just repeating those names so I can see which ones are recommended based on that interview, so I can have at least a minute or two to look at that list and go over what the recommended people are for those 7 positions.
And before he just runs down the list one more time, just so to clarify, Devin, Counselor Woodruff and myself were unanimous with this recommendation. So that's great for, I think, council to know. Also in the past for the new counselors, not one time since I've been elected, did all of council, were they able to do the boards and commissions interviews. All of us participate. And so I know Counselor Bosman missed, and a couple others have missed. And so that's why the 2 people were recommended. So that way we could get it done efficiently and effectively. But go ahead with the names.
And I would also suggest that this is a different process this year. We have intentionally created the interview teams, like Mayor Pro Tem Buell is suggesting, to do the interviewing and the review of the candidates. We all did see the applications. Those were sent to us. And so we've had a chance to review those as well. And so if there is any other discussion from council.
Mayor, if I could just add one
Yes.
clarifying point in that, just to clarify, it had nothing to do with my feelings, Counselor Bosman's. It was an email that you sent to a staff member directly to perform work that didn't go through me. And all my ask was that, as everything with council, that if you're going to direct staff or ask staff perform work, that should go through me personally, not to a staff member, which I wasn't copied on. So it wasn't a feelings per se, as much as it was the practice of making sure that requests for staff go through myself. And I just want to make sure that was clear, that it wasn't a feelings thing, that my feelings were hurt. It was just a practicality of how these matters are handled within our organization.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. Faye, may we please have a roll call?
Oh, I would like to hear the names. I didn't even
Okay,
have
we
a
can
chance
repeat the
to.
names one more time.
So you have an amended motion on the floor, which includes the name of an alternate. So just make sure you read the alternate.
And I'm happy to go into, I've got descriptions of each interview. If you'd like to hear kind of my perception of what they said to answer some of the questions. But that being said, I make a motion to, motion's already on the floor. I'll just repeat. Okay.
Seen the motion before the vote
All right.
as amended.
Doug Lyon,
Doug Lyon.
Roger Zalneritis,
Okay,
Anthony Savastano, Jasper Welch.
Yep.
Emma Millar,
yes.
Jessica Wheeler,
Oh, shoot. I have, okay.
John Baloo,
Hang
the
on.
7th.
I have to do this again. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Because I have selected names that I thought would be great candidates and
Okay.
it doesn't match up. So could you
Okay.
please start over again?
Yeah,
We
sure.
need
So
to
I
try
was
to
at the,
Actually.
I
do
was
this
at
a
the
little bit
interview and I,
Expeditiously.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could just read the names.
sure, Doug Lyon, Roger Zalneritis, Anthony Savastano, Jasper Welch, Emma Millar, Jessica Wheeler, John Baloo.
Well, Emma Millar,
Yep.
and then it was.
Jessica Wheeler is after Emma Millar.
Yeah.
John Baloo with the addition of Tom Barney
And yes,
as alternate.
Counselor Woodruff, I think, if you would just take I think it'd be great also for the record and for the applicants, just take just a real brief moment for each of the candidates as to why you have selected those. That would be fabulous.
Before you jump into the specifics, I just want to say, like, this board represents a little bit of IAB, a little bit of natural lands, a little bit of Parks and Rec, a little bit of Salt Fab, a little bit of former mayor, a little bit, like, we're trying to get a very holistic approach as to like the types of people and the composition of the board. And everyone that applied for this board that we interviewed was phenomenal. And it was really, really tough for us, but we were unanimous in our decision. And so he can go into specifics.
Sure. Doug Lyon, extensive civic experience, former mayor and two-term city councilor, understands that there needs to be some give and take with capital improvement projects, believes in robust public outreach for how money should be spent, knows how to balance the interests of everyone, believes the city's most important responsibility is to provide the building blocks for our community that allow people within our community to rely on the city framework for them to live their lives. Believes he's an objective decision maker that can balance the needs and wants of the community. Roger Z, he's already a member of the Salt Fab and has robust work experience around numbers and budgets. He is a current CEO within the community, and he knows project management comes with the territory and will be fair and balanced in how to spend the city's capital. Believes that it is the city's responsibility to keep services running and functioning for the constituents to enjoy, and has the bigger picture within the community in mind that we are addressing the key components of our obligations. Anthony Savastano, fourth generation Durango citizen, and also currently raising his family here. He's a Parks and Rec current board member, and along with multimodal. Those are both his passions, and he's excited to enhance the character of Durango. Believes parks are an important part of our community to beautify our town, adds benefits to our way of life, and create a safe space for everyone. As an attorney, he really dives into the minutia of contracts and planning, and he knows how to advise businesses on how to function and the best and most effective use of board time. He believes the city's role is to be responsive to community interest and provide transparency for how tax money is being spent, and believes building efficiencies will build better processes that will help provide the best product and better understanding the scope of different projects. Jasper Welch has a passion for budgets and numbers and does them daily within his work. Current Salt Fab member also, and believes citizens should have access to the board and being transparent throughout our work product. Believes our role is to be well-run and funded city, where in order to enjoy the greater things of Durango, we need to get the basics right with infrastructure. Believes that CIP decision-making isn't about competition for dollars, but more about what we need and what do we want to prioritize. Emma Millar currently serves on the Natural Lands Board and wants to see the transition to the FAB to be a stakeholder as part of that process. She believes in the natural lands mission that inspires her and wants to continue that mission. Loves the recreational aspect of our city and moved here specifically for that passion. She understands that trails and open space are not the only important aspect to our city and knows how to budget time and priorities along with streamlined processes to get things done. Jessica Wheeler, very community-minded and represents the not-for-profit world with her experience. Her passions lie with open space, education, and children's programming. Believes that children thrive when they are part of the process and wants to preserve Durango for future generations. Has dealt with various boards and commissions and believes governance and civility bring forth the best decision-making. John Ballou, his vast experience in running big capital projects through previous work and currently also sits on the IAB. He wants to be an engaged member of the FAB, and through the transition wants to continue to be a part of that process. Believes that the city's focus is to listen to citizen input and getting to business so that citizens can enjoy their life in Durango. Believes in the give and take that with discussion and input being the most important aspect of the decision-making process, and wants to get to work and be a mirror for our citizens. Prides himself on not jumping immediately, but does better with assessment and strategic planning.
So
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Councilor Woodruff. Yes, Councilor Boswell?
Yeah, I read through the applicants and I compared it now with, and I appreciate the summary of your interview findings. I feel personally, as a councillor, that Kathy Metz should be considered because I believe she brings a wealth of information, historical knowledge, and organizational knowledge in the ins and outs of that. So this is part of discussion. I hope this is part of our, as a council body, and trying to exchange some
Well, and-
ideas on who
and-
we recommend.
Sure.
As.
Do you want
as
us
a
to
board.
reply to Kathy Metz?
Say again?
Do you want us to reply to Kathy Metz? Like, do you want
Well, that was one of the names.
So I'm gonna caution you guys on having an open debate about personnel decisions.
Thank you.
You're in really, really treacherous waters. I mean, I think it's appropriate to put someone's accolades forward on the slate that you put forward in the motion. But if you're gonna start debating one person versus another, I'm gonna suggest that you go in executive session to do it. And I'm further gonna suggest that just don't do it at all because you've been through this process that you established to get to this point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan. And with that, do we have any other council comments? Yes.
Yes, I have
Councilor
some
Yasi.
comments. Okay, so we have a 7-person board, is that correct? And I heard there's 2 women appointed and there's 5 men. Was there no other women who wanted to apply for that board?
There we go. There was one other woman that applied. And we appointed 2 out of the 3 that applied.
Okay, I think that with that, can we have a roll
Well,
call, please?
I would like to make one more comment.
Okay, you've made several, so
Yeah,
if you
but
could
I-
make a succinct comment and
Well,
not
this
get
is
into
about
personnel,
process.
I would
This is-
appreciate.
This is
it.
about process. So I'm going to vote probably abstain because I have not had a chance to evaluate these appointees or discuss these appointees. I'm basically presented by, these are the appointees by the interview that took place by 2 councillors. And I do not feel that I, as a councillor, have had my opportunity to review or have my voice heard or my choice made for this recommendation. So
you.
would I be abstaining or would I vote no in that situation?
I can't tell you how to vote.
Oh.
could
Thank you,
either
Councilor
abstain, you
Bosman.
could vote yes, or you
Okay.
Thank you very much, Councilor Bosman's. We've had a process that we all agreed to, and we are currently following that process. And with that, I'd really like to have a roll call, please, Ms. Harmer.
Counselor Bosman's,
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef.
Yes, thank you. With that, we're going to move on to the Planning Commission. We had 2 open seats on this commission. The interview team was Counselor Bosman's and Counselor Yazzie and Matt Payne, who I believe was not present, but you guys can confirm that. Do I have a motion from the interview team?
If you just give me a moment, I can make a motion. I need a moment. Can you
Okay,
do another
yes,
board
I
commission?
sure
first?
can. I sure
Try
can.
and
I
find
will
my-
move on to, and I'm gonna move, the next one is with you as well, Counselor Bosman's, the Design Review Board. So perhaps I will move on to the Board of Ethics. We had 2 open seats on the Board of Ethics. We had an interview team of Mayor Pro Tem Buell and Counselor Yazzie and Mr. Jay Egan. Do we?
And just an update, Mayor.
Yes.
I did reach out to both David Smith and Catherine Burgess, who are the expiring term members. They both have agreed to stay on as long as council continues to try to fill those positions.
Wonderful.
So if you would like them to do that, you can certainly go there.
So I would suggest then that we have a motion in that regard.
Okay, so I will move to continue, what do you call that when you're searching for, like, put out another,
Oh,
because we have to redo it, right?
We can continue the search.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to continue the search for Board of Ethics positions and applicants.
And extend the appointment.
And extend the appointments of the 2 current board members that are expiring.
Second.
That was awkward.
Any further discussion? Wonderful. Maybe we have a roll call, please, Ms. Harmer.
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell.
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Election Commission. We had one open seat for the Election Commission. The interview team was myself and Counselor Yazzie and Faye Harmer. And I will make a motion on this one to appoint Vanessa Ruggles to the Election Commission. Do I have a second? Any discussion? I would just add that we all thought that her experience was well suited for the Election Commission. And we thought she would serve well in this capacity. May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. I'll move on to the Historic Preservation Board. We had 3 open seats. We had an interview committee of Counselor Woodruff, Counselor Bosman's, and Jim Rothwell. This is a state required board. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to appoint Tracy Reynolds, James Rothwell, and Craig Struble to the Historic Preservation Board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So there was a 4th applicant, Emily Chastain. And I don't know where she stands with design review as well as planning. Her first 2 choices were either design review or planning. And I don't know if she applied and was interviewed subsequently for those 2 boards. So I was hoping that she could get one of those first 2 choices because I think she could bring a lot to this board. She has robust experience, but seeing as that one has been reinstated with those 3 vacancies, that it's my hope that there's room in the others.
Yeah, so I want to clarify that too. So I appreciate that you bring that up. So beside the Finance Advisory Board, all the other boards have more positions open than applicants, or as in this case, we have 1 extra applicant, but that applicant was most interested in the board that I was looking for my notes for. So with that, the only board that I had to abstain is the Finance Advisory Board, because the other ones were pretty much filled with the open positions. So does that answer the 4th position, Emily Chastain, where I get to for the Design Review Board? She will be recommended in a minute.
Okay, yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, that's my motion.
So you have a motion on the table. We have a second. Any further discussion?
I have discussion, but it might have to be an executive session.
Oh,
Because I have one objection to one person on that board, because I had served on the Historic Preservation Board many years ago.
okay. I'm going to turn to Mr. Morgan for that because we can't go into executive session without it being properly noticed.
That's correct.
All righty, then I'll just abstain.
Any further discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Harmer?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Abstain.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Moving on to the Creative Economy Commission, we had 1 open seat. The interview committee was Mayor Pro Tem Buell, Counselor Woodruff, and Scott Smith. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Seth Furtney to the Creative Economy Commission.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, may we have a roll call, please, Ms. Harmer?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Moving on to the Business Improvement District, we had 1 open seat. The interview committee was myself, Counselor Woodruff, and Tim Walsworth. I will make a motion for this one to approve Carly Thompson to the bid board. Do I have a second?
Second.
I will just, for discussion, suggest that Carly Thompson is currently serving on the board. I think she's in a temporary role of some sort, but in any case, she's on the board. So this is just another confirmation of a position. She has significant experience in the community and was, I think will do very well in this role. May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Moving on to the Library Advisory Board, we had 1 open seat. The interview committee was myself, Counselor Woodruff, and Bill Lemare. I make a motion to approve Janet Oliver to the Library Advisory Board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Again, we had another candidate. She has extensive library experience working with students and families, and I think will do an excellent job on the library board. May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes,
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Moving on to the Land Use Board of Adjustment, 2 open seats. The interview committee was myself, Counselor Yazzie and Scott Shine. I make a motion that we do not appoint anyone to the Land Use Board, if this is appropriate. I was assuming I would make a motion to not appoint anyone to this board based on the direction provided to staff to combine this board with the Planning Commission and the Design Review Board to create the restructured Planning and Design Commission, the PDC. Do I have a second?
second,
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
yes,
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. And the Durango Airport Commission, we had 2 open seats, interview committee, Mayor Pro Tem Buell, Counselor Bosman's, and Tony Bakari. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, we only have one open seat.
Okay, thank you
Sorry. And I'm
for
going,
clarifying for the record, 1 open seat.
yes, one open seat. And I'm going to make a motion to appoint Tom Barney to the Airport Commission.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There's discussion now, I guess.
Discussion, yes.
On my list, I have no applicants for the airport.
So
I'm
when
just-
Tom Barney applied for the FAB board, because we had so many applications to the FAB board, and we knew we couldn't select all 12, one of the questions I asked everybody was if there was openings on other boards, would they be interested in applying for those? And Tom Barney's first application a long time ago, before he served on Parks and Rec, was to the Airport Commission. And I discussed with Tony Vakari and Faye, and Tony agreed that Tom Barney would be a great fit for the Airport Commission. And so that is where my recommendation comes from. And Tom agrees, so.
I think he's a great person for any board or commission. These changes, it's.
It was literally like today that I
Oh.
was able to talk to him.
All right, any further discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
yes,
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Okay, back to the Planning Commission. 2 open seats, interview committee, Counselor Bosman's, Counselor Yazzie, and Matt Payne. Do I have a motion?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Gilda, but if I have my notes here correct,
Go ahead.
the 2 people I would like to nominate for the 2 open positions are Alma Evans and Sarah Pritchard. Out of 4 applicants, but only 2 were interviewed.
Do I have a second?
second,
Any discussion? May I have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
yes,
Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Moving on to the Design Review Board, I had 3 open seats, interview team, Olivier Bosman's, Gilda Yazzie, Counselor Bosman's, Counselor Yazzie, and Rick Feeney. We did talk about combining this board, but do we have a motion?
So the 3 open positions, 2 people applied. One of them was just appointed 2 seconds ago to the Planning Commission. So the person I would like to recommend, what is the word? Recommend for the open position, nominate for the open position is Emily Chastain.
Do we have a second? Okay, great. Any further discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
yes,
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. And then we had 3, the firefighters, old pension, the local licensing authority, and the retirement board. They had no applications.
I do have an update on the firefighters board. if I
Okay.
could, Mayor. I reached out to Chris Garcia and Tom Kaufman on the firefighters old pension board. They did not realize that they needed to reapply. They're a little older and sometimes their emails aren't the first thing they check. So I did reach out to them personally. They both would like to continue to serve if council would choose.
Excellent.
I'll make a motion to appoint the two names that Faye just said to the firefighters' old pension.
Second,
Further discussion? Thank you for that update. May we have a roll call?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Any other further updates, Ms. Harmer? Local licensing or retirement?
We had no applicants for local licensing and none for the retirement board.
So for the seats in which we still have vacancies, do we need to do a motion to reopen and again advertise?
Can't hurt.
Okay, I will make a motion then that we, for all, can I do a general motion for all the open vacant seats on the remaining boards and commissions that we that we open up those seats and re-advertise again?
I'll second.
Further discussion?
I would just like to encourage maybe to Scott Shine as we're making these boards one board, whatever makes sense for the openings. Does that make sense? So we don't, because if the planning commission and the design review board are all going to get, so do we need to fill all of them or not? And so if maybe Scott Shine could also work with Faye during this process for the opening seats to make sure that we're filling it correctly, that'd be great.
That would be
And
great.
efficiently. Thanks.
I support that. So we have a motion on second on the table. I believe we need a roll call.
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Whew, I think we did it. Okay, so moving on to council reports and actions. Each council member is provided an opportunity to report on meetings recently attended and to discuss topics not otherwise appearing on the agenda. Boards and commission liaison reports. Who would like to begin?
Okay, I have a few. So when and just for council knowledge, when we didn't do council positions last time, Counselor Youssef and I were like, oh, shoot, there's a bunch of meetings that need to be filled. Some of them I had already been have gone to before. And so we decided to kind of take them until we appointed new people and talked about the mayor and the mayor pro tem. Mostly also because we thought it was as unfair for new counselors just to kind of get thrown in there and have to do that. So anyway, so I did the natural lands preservation, Natural Lands Board on May 8th. They talked about the fire or the prescribed burn on Animas Mountain because I had just started during then. And there's some things I didn't know, which I thought were really interesting. They've been working on that since 2019. And all the science behind it and prepping for it and getting ready for it. So it was and it was going super well as of our meeting on Monday, which I'm sure it probably finished fine. I didn't see an update, but they said that the weather was great for it. Conditions were great. The fuel content was right on track to what they thought. They had 250 acres on Monday and they were planning 250 more acres. Anyways, it was interesting. They talked about Durango Mesa Park trails that is taking off right now. AJ Construction is doing that and they're working on the connectivity trails that are going from Durango Mesa Park to Horse Gulch. They made and also the Alliance, when I went to their meeting, this was also said as a big reminder to stay off of the trails as they're being constructed because it causes a lot of damage that they have to go back and redo and they won't be able to get them open on time if they're having to fix what people are destroying. So stay off of the trails until they're opening. They're hoping to open in September for those trails. Well, not yet, but I think that they have plans for lots of signage. And I feel like during the Alliance meeting, they talk more about that. We talked about all the okay, so we're talking about the boards and commissions transition. They were super supportive of the new engagement specialist we have advertising for right now, that position, and they were excited about that. And we talked about all the capital improvement projects that they're working on right now and how that will be transferred over to the FAB board and then the joint meeting that they're having. So that was good. Then I did the alliance. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out my next meeting. Yep. The alliance was on May 9th. They did a Visit Durango update, which we just heard at our last city council meeting. There's an update on Durango Mesa Park there as well. City annexation moving along, the master plan for the BMX bike park, the BMX track, bike park, Frisbee golf, and a flexible event space is hoping to be done, I think this summer at some point. Hoping bike trails to be open in September, connecting to Horse Gulch. They did an update on the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic, which is Memorial Weekend. On May 10th, I went to the Parks and Rec meeting and did a lot of capital improvement project discussion, boards and commissions updates, and just kind of that transition process there as well. Again, they were super supportive and on board with the new transition plans, and Turi, and then in that meeting, and Amy in the other meeting talking about like the new developments that the ELT has had moving forward with the FAB board. And so they were on board with that. And then last night I went to the infrastructure advisory board meeting where they're again, plans for that transition. They have plans for a few more meetings to kind of get some of those capital improvement projects going. We talked a lot about the Lake Night Horse access, the water access and funding for that. And yeah, so those were my big meetings.
Thank you so much for attending
Yeah.
all those meetings, Mayor Pro Tem Buell. I really appreciate it. Other counselors, update?
Well, I was going to give a short update on the
Please do.
public office hours for city councilors. Today obviously was the first. I think it's really a good venue, especially since we are reducing the boards of commissioners, or have reduced that. There were about 7 people I spoke to. 2 of them had a bit more of a concern or something to relay. One of them we addressed during the study session, and the other one was sent by email. I think it's a great opportunity. It took a little bit over an hour. I was there. I tend to block an hour to give extra time to discuss if people show up, but at least I'm not sitting for 2 hours. So I have more time available for myself to stay there, but I want to keep that block at that time. But it depends on how many people show up. So I think it's a good opportunity to at least to move that engagement forward. And I will try, when I have these, same as I did today, to send out straight away the emails associated with it, to be able to to be able to address certain items like the potential pet ordinance, to send out the emails to address a citizen's concern directly to the city manager and to council, and to give you guys an update on what it is, what the first one was. And hopefully the next ones will be similar, where we can just chip away little concerns that come forward, or big concerns for that matter. But at least to have that opportunity. So it was good.
Thank you very much, Councilor Bosmans, for starting the process for us and having the first office hours. I think you bring up a really good point, which is following through after the office hours. I think that's something we should each strive to do. Just for the public, we are doing office hours. All of councilors is participating. We are rotating. We are doing it twice monthly. And the next office hours will be June 7th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. I will be hosting that one. It's also again at the Durango Public Library, like Councilor Bosmans, in the coffee foyer area. So hope to see you then. But thank you again for that. And I too will try to follow up after my office hours and make sure council knows any input that I'm receiving.
Yes. Okay, just recently, I attended the Regional Housing Authority tour of the Gage Apartments, which are down behind Home Depot. And those are those big structures that were parked there in the late fall. And they're modular homes is basically what they are. And they're putting them in I thought it was a great project when I saw it put together, because they're putting them together, or they're finishing up the seams, and they have nice kitchens. They look brand new. They're suitable for families. And it was a really successful tour. And then after that, I went to their regional housing meeting and, met with all the people there. And luckily, I already knew a lot of the people, so that was all good. And we're going to move forward on trying to have like to get more public input. And then also I recently attended the, I think it was May 4th, the Natural Lands meeting up at the Lions Den with Secretary Tom Vasic. So he came up here to announce there was like $63 million in funds available for, the whole nation, but he was concentrating on what funds were available for fire mitigation here in La Plata County, Montezuma, and all over southwestern Colorado. So that was really interesting because there was a lot of stakeholders like the BLM, the Natural Forest Service, I believe that somebody from the Southern Utes, and it was all really very informational. So that's about it.
Excellent. Thank you.
I did have one more I forgot. She said RHA, which thank you so much for covering for me on that one. And then there was a Department of Housing in Chafa came on a region through a Region 9 tour to answer questions about Prop 123. And Eva and a couple of our staff was there for that as well. And it was super informative, and she's on it, of course, and asking all the great questions. And there's a lot of I don't knows happening around Prop 123 right now. But we're trying to like get it in so we can, earmark that money and have options to it. If we like, basically you have to give your information, and so they're trying to figure all that out still and stuff. But anyways, it was super interesting. So we did that too.
Thank you.
Yes.
I attended my first Mayor's Youth Advisory Commission. It was great. Such a fun meeting. I tell you, these students are turned on and engaged. And it is really fun to work with them. The project that they were working on when I arrived was they are grading artwork for the artwork and poetry for the Durango Cowboy Gathering. Ethan McGinnis is kind of the mastermind from what I understand. He's a junior at Durango High School, and he's working with the MIAC Commission to basically broaden the inclusion of area students of all ages into the Cowboy Gathering via these art mediums. And it's really neat. And they're going to be showing this art throughout the community in the fall in various destinations at the Art Center and throughout. And I asked if they would please give us a chance to have some of the artwork here in the council chambers so we could enjoy it for a little bit. And they are going to consider that as well. I hope they do. I also attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning, business after hours. It is at 11th Street Station this Thursday, May 18th from 5 to 7 p.m. They have had really good attendance at these business after hours again. Now with the chamber, over 100 members attending. So back to pre-COVID era. It's a fun time to connect with local employees and employers. Downtown Clean Day is Friday, May 26th. From 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. They're meeting at the chamber, 2301 Main Avenue, to help basically shine up downtown. So it's a great way to get involved and help participate in the community. Leadership La Plata applications are due May 31st. Great way to meet some well-connected colleagues in our community and learn about our community. More information on that on the chamber website. And we talked today about the enterprise zones, and Tommy Crosby, I know I was going to hit her too. And she's an alum. And Tommy Crosby from our staff was there, present at the meeting, answering questions for the chamber, and the chamber motioned and approved the letter of support for the amended enterprise zone. So yes, we have public office hours set up. I wanted to remind, and then council, I guess with our new roles, we should all look at the calendar, see when they're meeting next. I know I have now an airport commission meeting on Thursday. So here we go. We're right back at it. Make sure you note your times of your meetings and be ready to go. And with that, I think we're going to move on to 15.1, discussion and possible action to convene into executive session to receive legal advice regarding potential litigation related to the theft of a City of Durango transit vehicle. as permitted in CRS 24-6-4024B. Do I have a motion?
Second, oh, a motion?
We need, do we? I wasn't sure if I had that. I got it. Is that it? I thought you did it. Okay.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session or to convene an executive session to receive legal advice regarding potential litigation related to the theft of a City of Durango transit vehicle as permitted in CRS 24-6-4024B.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Yes.
It's,
Off and then.
it's 6:59 and we'll be very quick.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're down.
Uh-oh, that's not my favorite. Hey, okay, stop it for the record. Oh.
Yeah, no, I wasn't actually.
Faye, are you ready?
We're good.
Okay. I'm going to start. Counselors, the time is now 7:17 and the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were myself, Jose Madrigal, Aaron Hyder, Mark Morgan, Olivier Bosmans, Dave Woodruff, and Jessica Buell. Did I get everyone? Okay. For the record, council met in executive session discussion. For the record, if any participant in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. Seeing none, I believe that is, the only thing I didn't do is read the agenda title again. Is that okay?
We only had one, so just for the record, we went in and only discussed that particular matter and there's no action being taken.
Thank you for clarifying. So seeing none, I think we can look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.